My #1 goal is just to be that model of how a ranch can be. I just want to be in heaven and fly down and just say, hey, I was the 2nd generation to help get this to 100 years old. It's difficult to do. The ups and downs of our industry makes it hard to forecast what next year we're going to bring. I've learned you get one chance to get this right. I want this ranch to be generational. We're at Caney Creek Ranch, and we're in Oakwood, Texas. So the Oakwood community is a unique community. We're a small town. There's about 600 to 700 people that live here. The school's very small. They play like 6-man football. This ranching community is really just a happy place. Everyone has family ranches. And no matter what needs to be done, whenever they need to work cattle or whatever they need for their operation, being there for each other. Just community family.
I'm Wesley Ratcliff. I've done some things in life, and I've enjoyed the things I've done in life, most of them. What you have to do is don't let those difficulties stop you. Yep.
My dad worked so much, and thank God he did to a degree, because we wouldn't have this today if he didn't work as hard as he did work.
He wants to make sure that we learn a lot about the ranching community because he wants us to be able to take this on.
Working with family it's fun. It's like we all know our roles.
So Dwayne is more of a checklist person.
My role in the family business is just to be a worker bee. I'm gonna just throw it in there, Kim. I am not gonna be as smart as Kim as it relates to some of the ins and outs of agriculture and all that.
And like straight from the farm.
Straight from the farm.
Ben is more of a spontaneous person.
I consider myself a part-time cattle rancher. When it comes to talking to strangers or to business opportunities, they'll usually kind of just look at me and they know, okay, I'll go take care of it. She's spending your money over there, so I've got you distracted while...
You learn how to work with their personalities and make the business work.
Kim is everyone's boss. She has an idea with what she wants to get done, and she has an idea on how it should be done.
It's a lot of love from all of us. And also, we give each other a hard time.
Because it is cold in there.
So. Oh, really?
Yeah, it is cold in there.
Our freezer is cold.
Kimberly enjoys this. The others enjoy it to a degree.
I know for a fact that this ranching has brought our family together more.
My sister Kim is driven. She has a purpose of what she wants to do, and she loves what she's doing.
I'm very proud of my sister, and she is doing amazing things.
Her goal is to do those things that help other people.
Your parents have left you a good legacy. Don't just be satisfied with what they give you. Grow it.
The Black farming community has always been here. We need to sit at the table, tell our story.
You go around the other side. Open the gate. Then I'll tell you my story.
Oh, this is almost like a tall tale.
Caney Creek Ranch was an operation my parents bought in 2002.
We have a ranch in Lovelady, Texas, which is like another hour from here. My dad was driving home to Dallas.
So he was just driving down the road and decided to just take a shortcut.
and he drove by this for sale sign.
And he was like, whoop, turned around.
And my wife, and when she saw me stopping here to look at this place, why are you looking at that place? I said, well, I'd really like to have one a little bit bigger than the one that I have now.
It was pitch dark when he first came.
Lovelady at the time was about 95 acres. And this was close to 1,000 acres. So that's a pretty big jump. I said, well, I don't mind jumping.
And then they came back the next day when the light was up, and my dad's like, I'm ready, I want to buy it.
So we bought it, and neither one of us regretted it.
The nice thing about the operation was I tell people it was turnkey. We really didn't have to buy anything. It came with the cattle, it came with the equipment, it came with all the resources necessary.
And I must say, the guy who I bought it from had started a real good grass program here. Now, I also bought his cattle, and that was one of the best moves I made too, because it was a unique breed. There weren't very many people selling that type of cow.
It's important that you have animals that are related to the climate that you are involved in. There's hairy animals and there's non-hairy animals. And you want to make sure that if the hairy animals, they're up there where it's nice and cold, then you have animals that are slick, that can handle heat. We have animals that are able to handle that humid, arid climate. So our animals are called Charbret. They're a cross between Charolais and Brahman. We started out with about 500, and we've decreased a little bit lately, so we're probably down to about 300 Charbret cattle.
In certain jobs, you can't see progress for what you're doing. With the cow business, that's always the exciting part of it. Kim, what we got going today?
So today, the embryologist is coming.
Embryologist coming again, huh?
Again.
No, he did good last time.
Yeah, he did good. I think last time, out of 5, we had 4. So he's gonna preg check him first for us. He's gonna do some ultrasound, and then he's gonna put some embryos in them.
Okay.
So, and then
Well,
from there,
we'll know in 9
and I
months.
think from now, I think they're supposed to be born in September. I always say you have to put an animal in an environment that they're comfortable in to really make the animal thrive. So genetics is key for several reasons. Genetics allows us to bring healthy animals in, help us bring great genetics that have longevity in. I know there's some pregnant back there and they're all mixed together, so I'm just gonna have you look at them all.
Okay.
Ranching is not the same old ranching. So there's so much technology when it comes to genetics from the animals, and it's a system that's been researched, that's been verified. It's just like any other system when it comes to getting an animal pregnant.
This one's heavy bred.
When you say heavy, like 8 months?
You can look at that. And
Let's
I'll
see.
look at this.
Yeah.
So
Look at
there's a spine.
Oh, yeah.
You see the big clods? Those are cotyledons.
That is neat. She looks heavy bred. Ready for another one. Having all those checks and balances before we actually breed that animal. Making sure they're healthy. There's temperature check, making sure the weight is right, making sure that they have the right system a female needs to have. So what's
See the
that
black
spot?
black circle is a big dominant follicle.
Look at that.
We could put an embryo in her.
Okay. And once we breed them, our embryologist helps to make sure that those genetics are healthy genetics that we're putting in that animal.
These are fertilized in 7-day-old embryos. All right, just like that. She's 7 days bred.
7 days bred, huh?
We value our animals. We want to make sure that the animals are raised with the best resources and raised with the best care that an animal can ever be raised with. This ranching community is such a caring community. We are really, really trying to produce the best product for you. If we want to continue growing cattle, we have to make sure we have strong soil, strong forages, great shade for our cattle with great tree lines. All of that is so important to make sure our land stays viable so we can continue growing. Because I think it's so important that we keep it in the family for generations to come. And that is the basis of sustainability. So many operations are not staying together because of conflicts in the family. And that's how property gets subdivided. That's how ag land's non-existent anymore. And I didn't want my family to have that. So I came home for that reason, and that was one of the primary reasons for it. When my parents bought the place, I was living in New York. And I went to school at Long Island University, and one of my final internship opportunities was at Bloomberg as public relations and marketing. And I kind of just evolved into a full-time job. It allowed me the opportunity to really understand the financial industry, really get that knowledge of what are some of those inputs that drive these financial markets. That opportunity led to me understanding actually the ag side because of my parents' connection in buying the ranch. I really feel like a lot of people that are sitting in front of the computer trading a product don't understand the true process of that product. After all these constant conversations with my mom and dad about the business, and then me sitting on Wall Street and that whole disconnect between Wall Street and agriculture world, I just felt like I needed to figure out what side of the game I wanted to play. When I told my dad I was coming back to the ranch, he never told me no. And I think that's his way of showing, I love you. He's letting me figure it out. You're gonna make mistakes, move on, and let's continue. I didn't realize my dad's accomplishments until I was much older.
So you're gonna make me get my glasses.
My dad is probably one of the smartest men I've ever known in my life.
I'd like to congratulate you on a job well done. You have personally participated in one of the world's most historic events.
You know he's successful, and you know that when he's around that, okay, that's someone, if I can get an ounce of knowledge out of, I probably should try to.
The work we're engaged in is not a job, it's an adventure. Each of you has made a contribution. That's an ROTC picture there of my senior year in college.
That's where I get that little crooked smile from. Because I do that same kind of smile.
Is that right?
That crooked smile.
I would like to thank you and to congratulate you for your participating in the fine team effort in planning the Apollo 8 mission, which contributed to the success of the world's first manned lunar mission. John Mayer, Chief of Mission Planning and Analysis Division. He was the big boss.
My dad's amazing because he's so humble. He doesn't like to talk about this very much.
When I left the Army, I needed a job. I was really interested in the NASA program because it was something new, something that the president had said we were going to go to the moon, and I wanted to be a part of that. The biggest obstacle you run into when you finish from a small school is there are people from big institutions. People didn't feel like I should be able to compete with them in that course. I ran into it when I was in the Army. When I got to NASA, I had the same problem because we had people recruited for NASA from every institution that you could think of, some of the brightest brains you want to have. I could compete with anybody who was in the marketplace.
My mom and dad really instilled the value of keeping that Ratcliff name as a proud name.
I'm proud that my kids understand the value of work. And when I say value, I don't necessarily mean the monetary value, but work with people, for people, and do things for your community and others who are not as well off as you are. I'm proud of all of them. first bought this property, after I'd had it for 6 months, a guy came and offered me twice what I paid for it. And I just told him I didn't buy it to flip. I bought it to utilize.
People might not have their ranch set up like we do. We have it in trust.
And that trust is set up such that it's going to be difficult for them to get it out of the family.
And that's really not always the case. For example, if their husband passes away, their kids are in the big cities and they don't know what to do anymore with their cattle. And then you get in a point where people have to sell their lands. And when that's happening, it's getting subdivided. And it's allowing for small developments to come in. So what am I gonna have to do to make sure that we can keep a ranch together with multiple personalities, multiple different careers, and multiple different ideas of what ranching is? It took a while for my brothers to search and find their love of ranching. For me, it's a career. It's a lifestyle. For my brothers, it's an enjoyment. It's a getaway. I was more involved in that side of agriculture than my brothers.
I work for an industrial water treatment company.
Once I get tired of city life, I will probably move out here at some point in time.
What helped is me coming home, us starting a business together, and that business involved into finding their love for the ranch in their own way. When I started, I was like, Dad, we have all these great animals. I really want to start my own meat company.
So she came to me and my brother and said, hey, why don't we do a farm-to-freezer concept?
This is a siblings-owned businesses because we want to work together.
She is the head, although my brother and I still are part of it.
They are passionate about it. They might not be hands-on every day here, but they're my delivery drivers. They pick up my products, they sell, and that's okay, because that's part of the business too.
How you doing today?
All right, we got 2 turkey legs, 1 with a dirty rice, cornbread dressing.
Every Saturday and Sunday, go to the Frisco Farmers Market, where we sell all of our meat there.
Just with any business, we're nothing without our customers.
So now we're thinking about what we want to do for our Christmas.
We're still not certain what we want to do.
As long as meat's on the menu.
Right, exactly.
One of the aspects that they like about our business is the fact that it's family owned and the story behind it.
Why did you decide to leave Bloomberg?
Mainly because I realized if I didn't leave at a certain point, the family ranch wouldn't have the next generation.
Oh, you had to make the decision.
So I had to make the decision.
Yeah, it makes
either
sense.
staying there.
Put this on! Here, it's not that hard move.
BJ and Mackenzie are my twins. They are 13 going on 14.
How about you do your angle, let him do it his however way he wants over here.
I really do believe they will take an interest in it. They're 13.
You guys really give some healthy samples. We don't want to give them a whole dinner. We just need a little bit.
That's not a whole dinner.
This is a dinner, girl. All right.
That's as bad as the first
So let's
one.
see if we can find some people to give them out to.
We're not gonna walk around, are we?
You scared?
No, I'm fine.
Hey, put these two to work.
Would you like to?
Would you like a sample?
Yeah, we would love to.
I believe they'll have some involvement in it.
It's good. Yeah, it's really good.
They like spending time here.
It's tough getting the grandkids interested in work because they'd rather play games. But when they come up, I do make them get on the four-wheeler with me. We'll go out and we'll do things.
Because it's got to be passed down to you guys.
Yes.
Right now, you're the next generation. I don't have any kids. Uncle Dwayne doesn't have any kids. So it's all on you guys. Is that pressure, or you say it's exciting?
It's a little pressure.
Because you're 13, so you have a long time to learn, right?
Yes.
So when you come out, you learn little bit by little bit, and before you know it, you'll be able to keep this all generational.
I hope BJ and Mackenzie want to join the business one day. We are trying our best to instill the value of a family ranch so we can have it for generations to come.
But they have to know that it's not all fun and games. but there are fun and games that can happen from what you're doing here.
Yeah, good job.
No matter how much you love ranching, it's still a career. It's still a business. It's not just growing a cow. It's not just selling a cow. It's so much more than that. This is one unselfish career. It's knowing that we're building something together. It's showing up wherever you need to show up and be there and support each other. The stereotypical image of American cowboy is the old white man. You have to understand there's so many people interested in this industry, and there's a lot of us that feel like we're not represented. Then we're not bringing the next generation in, and then agriculture is losing some really key talented people. So we really have to make sure that there's images of all kind of agriculture people to keep agriculture in existence. Because we gotta stop looking at one image and saying, this is it.
Just drop that pin. Those two up there, and we'll put in the 3. Okay.
What we're doing here on the ranch is show them how we work together. So our activity is trying to grow profitability within it. So it's selling our cattle together and make a product that can be sold in the market to the end consumer.
So you had cattle before, right? Or is this really your first time getting into it?
No, this is my second go around.
Right, because I remember you saying you're gonna retire soon.
Yeah, I told my children, I said, this time Dad's gonna do something different. I want basket. You got to treat them, you got to respect them.
About 2 years ago, we started an initiative with Cargill called the Black Farming and Ranching Equity Initiative. And that has helped drive the opportunities for corporations to invest into the Black community. It's about equal representation.
Thank you.
All right, guys, you take care.
It is important for us to really understand the Black ranching community. It's to understand their history.
It's been difficult, very difficult. The land that we have here, people lost a good bit of it.
I understand history's history, but it needs to be told, it needs to be understood, and it doesn't need to be repeated.
How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Fine,
Yeah, good to see you. So how's the ranching going?
My grandfather was a farmer, and he had about 400 acres of land, and that land was taken from it. But my father, he was a sharecropper. He tried to buy the land, and they would not sell it. They was going to give it back to the state. So I came home. I might get a little emotional.
No, that's okay.
Living in Freestone County, I could go and buy a car anywhere. But when I needed $100,000 to buy some land, I could not get the loan in Freestone County.
Wow.
Me and my wife came home, we talked about it. So that Monday morning, we got up and we drove to Corsicana. And I went up there and I was talking to, I'm gonna call him the man that was in charge. He said, I tell you what, if the land check out, the land is yours. I said, what? He said, you got the loan. Within 3 weeks, we had the paperwork done.
Wow. So that's amazing. So the land that your dad sharecropped on, you're owning.
I own it. Born and raised there.
Born and raised there.
Born and raised there.
The Black farming community has always been here. We've been here since sharecroppers. We're here to stay. We're not going anywhere.
I'm the 5th generation. My grandfather had 75 acres.
Okay.
And my great-grandfather had 105 acres.
Okay.
And I guess you might say I'm blessed today that I still own 30-some acres of that. And it's just in my
It's in your blood.
DNA.
What kind of advice do you have for me? You know, I plan on being here and bringing next generation here, et cetera.
You don't know how much I've learned from you.
Oh, thank you.
We want our young generation to use what you have.
Right.
Get the best out of the land, the best out of the water.
Right.
And then you could be amazing at what you can do.
Use your expertise, use your knowledge to make it better. Because as time changes, the world changes.
Thank
Amen.
you, guys.
All right.
Thank you for sitting down and talking to me today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's important to diversify the operation to have multiple income streams. It takes 9 months to have a calf. That means you get paid every 9 months. So we have to look in our operation and see what other revenue streams can we have that can give us income several times a year.
It's gonna be a minimum of 800 acres. They want more, we talk about it. They want less.
Because the bulls can move somewhere else.
Yeah, I moved the bulls.
My dad and I were really concentrating on different enterprises because we really understand what it's going to take for this to be generational. We were approached by a solar company to take the 1,000 acres dedicated just for solar.
So it's going to go all the way to the back of the fence line.
And they're gonna put them all on the road. The road's gonna be occupied with solar.
Okay.
So people can drive by and say, oh, this is where I get my electricity from.
Exactly.
And along with that solar, we're going to have an opportunity to also graze sheep under it.
They are as excited about us putting the sheep in as you are.
I am excited.
Because they don't want to have to mow that.
Right.
And they're going to pay us to put sheep out.
They're going to pay us and then we get to sell them. That's 3 incomes right there on one piece of property.
I just see over the years all the different enterprises that we have brought onto this. And I think that growth makes me happy to know that it can go next generation. Climate change is not just rural America's problem, it's also urban America's problem too. So we need to look at what each one of us are doing individually and take ownership of it individually to really make changes. So the recent administration has been really concentrating on climate smart practices. So how can we reward ourselves for being good stewards of the land?
We believe by creating this opportunity that we could support the acceleration of and adoption of climate smart practices on our farms, our ranches, and our orchards, and our forests.
The Climate Smart Commodity USDA grant is a collaboration between many. It's a great example on how community can work.
We recognized in development and designing of this program that it wasn't enough to create large projects.
Right.
That we also had to address and attend to the needs of small-sized family operations, as well as those who've been historically underserved.
Yep.
We're announcing $325 million
Wow.
to be awarded to 71 additional projects.
That's our project. $3 million going towards historically underserved farmers throughout Texas. I feel great. I feel hard work is actually paying off. With the grant, we're going to help local producers throughout 60 counties across Texas. We're going to help them create a climate smart plan and looking at what the soil content is currently and how can we increase that soil composition. Some of it might be you need to cover crop to make sure you don't have any erosion. Some of it might be how can we help their water resources. You're getting paid for those practices and you're also increasing your production of your operation. And it's just showing that it's going to take more than just one individual to really make a difference in this climate. Exciting.
what do I want people to take away from my story? You have to truly, truly work hard at what you want to do. It's okay to make your career change and make it change because of your values, of what you think is right. I think people are scared. The world says you have to be in corporate America and you have to be a doctor or a lawyer. If you want to be a rancher, that is okay. Just make sure you have the passion. And I think that's the key. Sometimes it takes a leap. But believe me, this community will support you. I'm one that will. I will support you. I will check on you, knock on your door, make sure you're okay. And that is what this ag community is about.